I never really thought of myself as the black sheep of my family, but I guess that's how my siblings saw me. My name is Jake, and I'm 26. For as long as I can remember, I've been the one expected to pick up the slack, run errands, handle housework, take care of everyone's messes, and basically play the role of unpaid assistant to my older brother and sister. It wasn't even something we ever discussed. It was just an unspoken rule. When we were kids, they would push their chores onto me. If something got broken in the house somehow, it was my fault. If one of them forgot to do their homework, they'd make me do it for them. And when I complained, I was whining. I was too sensitive. I was the burden. That's what they called me, especially my sister, Amanda. Ugh, Jake, stop being such a burden. Why do you always make things so difficult? Just do it. It's not that hard. Those words stuck with me, even as I got older. My parents never really stepped in. My dad worked long hours, and my mom, well, she had this philosophy that family takes care of each other, which in practice meant I was the one taking care of everyone else. When I moved out at 18, I thought that would be the end of it. I had my own life, my own job, my own tiny apartment that, for the first time, felt like it actually belonged to me. But, of course, that didn't mean I was free. Amanda, who was 29, and my brother, Ryan, who was 31, had grown into adulthood with the same entitled mindset they had as kids. Anytime they needed something, they called me. If Amanda's car broke down, Jake, I need you to pick me up. If Ryan was short on rent, Jake, just spot me this month. If my mom wanted something done around the house, Jake, I told Amanda and Ryan to help, but you know how they are. Can you just do it? And I did, because that's what I was supposed to do, right? Be the responsible one? Be the helper? Be the burden? But things really came to a head about a year ago when my dad had a health scare. It wasn't life-threatening, but it was serious enough that my mom needed help taking care of him. Naturally, she called me first. Jake, your father is going to need someone to help with doctor's appointments, and you're the best with this sort of thing. And I did it. I took days off work. I drove my dad to his checkups. I picked up his prescriptions. Amanda and Ryan? They showed up maybe once or twice, took some pictures to post on Facebook about how family is everything, and then left. When my dad recovered, I thought maybe, just maybe, this would make them appreciate me a little more. Maybe they'd say, wow, Jake, we really owe you one. But no. A few months after my dad was back on his feet, Amanda called. Not to thank me. Not to see how I was doing. She needed a favor. Hey, so, I just started this new job, and I can't take time off yet, but Mom needs some stuff done at the house. Can you handle it? I was exhausted. I was done. So for the first time in my life, I said no. The silence on the phone stretched for so long I thought the call had dropped. What? Amanda finally said, as if the word had personally offended her. I said no. I can't. But Mom needs help. Then maybe you and Ryan should help her. She scoffed. You're seriously going to be selfish right now? Something inside me snapped. Selfish? After years of being the one who did everything while they did nothing? I have my own life, Amanda, I said, keeping my voice as calm as possible. Figure it out. And I hung up. That was the first domino to fall. After that, I stopped answering their calls. Not immediately. At first, I made excuses. I was busy. I had work. I wasn't feeling well. But the truth was, I was done being their safety net. I stopped driving across town to run errands. I stopped bailing Ryan out when he overspent his paycheck. I stopped being the family's go-to problem solver. At first, they didn't notice. Or maybe they just assumed I'd come around like I always did. But then the text started. Ryan, hey man, you got a sec? Need a favor. Amanda, Mom's asking for you. Can you call her? I ignored them. Then came the guilt tripping. Amanda, so you're just abandoning your family now? Ryan, dude, what's your problem? We're supposed to have each other's backs. Mom even got in on it. Sweetheart, I don't understand why you're acting this way. Family takes care of each other. I wanted to scream. I wanted to send them all a long, detailed message about every time they had ignored me, dismissed me, used me. I wanted to tell them that I was tired, that I was done. But I didn't. Instead, I just stopped responding altogether. That's when the real fallout began. And I'll tell you all about it, because if they thought I was going to roll over like I always had, they were in for a surprise. The silence didn't last long. At first, I think they were convinced I was just being moody and that I'd come to my senses soon enough. After all, that's how it always went. I'd get frustrated, I'd try to push back, and then eventually, I'd cave. I'd show up at Amanda's doorstep or answer Ryan's calls, or let my mom guilt trip me into doing whatever needed to be done. But this time was different. A week passed, then two. I ignored every text, every call. I blocked Amanda and Ryan when they got too aggressive. Mom was the only one I didn't block, but I kept my replies vague and distant. Then, about 3 weeks in, I got a text from my mom that made my stomach sink. Your brother got evicted. For a second, I almost felt bad. Almost. Ryan had always been terrible with money. He made decent enough cash at his job, but he spent it like water. New gadgets, expensive clothes, nights out drinking. He never planned ahead. And for years, I had been his safety net. Anytime he came up short, he knew he could count on me to fill in the gaps. Not this time. I didn't reply right away. I needed a moment to process. Then, after a deep breath, I texted back, "That sucks. Hope he figures it out." A minute later, my phone rang. Mom. I almost let it go to voicemail, but some part of me wanted to hear what she had to say. So I answered, "Jake." She didn't even let me get a word in before she launched into it. "I don't understand what's going on with you. Your brother is in trouble, and you're acting like you don't even care." I pinched the bridge of my nose. "Mom, Ryan's an adult. He knew his rent was due. He should have paid it. He would have if he had a little help." "You mean if I had helped him?" A sharp silence. "Well, yes. That's what family does." "No, Mom," I said, my voice steady. "That's what I do. And I'm done." Her tone shifted instantly, from frustration to exasperated disappointment. "Jake, I don't know what's gotten into you. This isn't how I raised you." I actually laughed. "No, Mom. This is exactly how you raised me. You raised me to put everyone else first. To be responsible for my siblings while they did whatever they wanted. To drop everything the second they needed something. But guess what? I'm not their backup plan anymore." She was quiet for a moment, probably because she wasn't used to me talking back like this. Then, with a sigh, she said, "Ryan's staying with Amanda for now, but he can't stay there forever. He needs somewhere to go." And there it was. The real reason for the call. "You want me to let him move in with me?" "Just for a little while," she said quickly, like she could hear the refusal forming on my lips. "Until he gets back on his feet. He's your brother, Jake." I clenched my jaw. He's a grown man who should have figured out how to stand on his own feet a long time ago. "Jake." "No, Mom." I took a breath, forcing myself to stay calm. "He's not moving in with me. I'm not paying his bills. I'm not solving his problems. If he wants to fix this, he needs to do it himself." Her voice turned sharp. "And if it was you in trouble, wouldn't you want help?" I let out a humorless laugh. "Funny, because I've been in trouble before, Mom. I've been struggling. I've been exhausted. And you know what? No one ever stepped up for me. No one ever asked if I needed help. That's not fair, isn't it?" She went quiet again. I sighed. "I gotta go, Mom. Jake, good night." I hung up before she could try again. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. But I knew this wasn't over. Because Amanda and Ryan, they weren't the type to just let things go. And I had a feeling they were about to make things much worse. The next day, I got a text from Amanda. I almost didn't read it, but something about the way she phrased it caught my attention. It was too calm, too carefully worded. It made me suspicious. "Hey, Jake. We need to talk. It's about Ryan. Please just hear me out." I stared at the message for a while. I'd been expecting something more like, "You're an awful brother," or "You're abandoning your family." But this felt different. She wasn't yelling, at least not yet. I didn't respond immediately. I was trying to figure out my next move. I'd made it clear I wasn't interested in helping Ryan, and I sure wasn't going to let Amanda guilt trip me into it. But maybe this was her last shot to try to talk some sense into me. Eventually, curiosity got the better of me. I replied, "What about Ryan?" A few minutes later, my phone buzzed with a voice message. I pressed play. "Jake, I know you're mad. And I get it. You've been carrying everyone for years, and it's not fair. But here's the thing. I'm not asking you to do everything for him. But can't you at least help a little? Just let him crash on your couch for a week or two while he figures things out. He doesn't have anywhere else to go, and he's really struggling. You know how he is. He's not good at this adulting thing. He needs family right now. Please, I'm begging you." I could hear the desperation in her voice, but also something else, something that wasn't just about Ryan. It was about Amanda, too. She didn't want to deal with Ryan. She wanted me to. And if I took him in, it would only be a matter of time before I was back to doing everything for him. I sat there for a while, contemplating. On the one hand, I could ignore her completely. That would send the message loud and clear that I was done playing the role of the family savior. On the other hand, I was still her brother, and part of me felt bad. Maybe too bad. I thought about what Mom said. That's not how I raised you. The words still echoed in my head. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized I didn't need to follow that script anymore. That wasn't my responsibility. That wasn't my burden. I sent Amanda a text, keeping it short and firm. No, Ryan is a grown man. He's going to have to figure this out on his own. I'm not his backup anymore. She didn't respond right away, and I felt a small knot of relief in my chest. But I knew the storm wasn't over. I knew she'd keep pushing, and soon enough, I was going to have to deal with Ryan's response. I didn't want to think about it, but I could feel it coming. A few hours passed before Ryan called. His name flashed on my screen, and I considered ignoring it. But then, as much as I hated to admit it, I didn't want him to think I was running away from the confrontation. I swiped to answer. "Jake," he said, his voice strained. "You've really gone too far this time." I was already tired of hearing that phrase. What's that supposed to mean? Mom's worried. Amanda's worried. I'm trying to get my life together, and now you're just abandoning me. He paused, clearly expecting a reaction. I stayed silent for a moment. "Ryan, I'm not abandoning you. I'm not your personal ATM or your unpaid babysitter anymore. You need to figure this out. You're being unreasonable," he snapped. "I don't know why you're acting like this. You've always been the one who helped. Now you're just—" His voice cracked a little. "Why can't you help me just this once?" I felt a pang in my chest, but I pushed it aside. I had to be strong. I couldn't give in this time. You want help? Get a job. Pay your own bills. Take responsibility for your actions like an adult. "Come on, Jake," he said, his tone softer now. "You're really going to let me fall on my face like this? After everything?" I clenched my jaw. "I'm not the one who got himself into this mess, Ryan. You did this. You've been making bad choices for years, and it's time to face the consequences." There was a long pause on the other end, and for a brief moment, I thought he might actually get it. That maybe, just maybe, he was finally going to understand. But then his voice came back, more desperate than before. "I can't do it without you, Jake. I can't do this alone." The words hit me harder than I expected. It was like hearing a plea for help, but also a silent accusation that I had always been the one carrying him. That if I didn't save him, no one would. And for a second, I almost cracked. Almost. But then I thought about all the years I'd spent being the crutch for everyone else. All the years of resentment building up. And I knew, this time, I wasn't going to be his safety net. I hung up. My phone buzzed again immediately. A text from Amanda. "Please, Jake. I'm asking you. This is the last time. Just let him stay for a bit. You know he won't survive without you." I set my phone down. They didn't get it. They didn't understand. And I was done explaining. I was finally going to make them see exactly how much they had taken from me. But little did I know, the worst was yet to come. Ryan wasn't the only one who had been keeping a secret from me. The next few days were tense. I knew the storm wasn't over, but I didn't expect it to escalate so quickly. My phone rang late one night. It was my mom again. I stared at the screen for a moment, then let it ring out. I wasn't ready to have another conversation where she made me feel guilty for something that wasn't my fault. The next morning, I had a voicemail from Amanda. I braced myself. "Jake, please listen to me," she said, her voice breaking a little. "I know you're angry, and I get it. But you have to understand, Ryan's not doing well. He's depressed. He's not just acting out because of his bad choices. He's struggling with things you don't know about. He's got no support system. I can't do this alone. I need you to help him. He needs you." I felt a knot tighten in my chest, but I quickly shoved it aside. They were trying to manipulate me again. They always had a way of making it seem like it was all about them, even when it wasn't. I couldn't fall for it. I couldn't go back to being the person they expected me to be, the one who always saved everyone else, no matter the cost to myself. But still, the words lingered in my mind. Ryan had been depressed? Was that why he'd always seemed so reckless, so unable to take responsibility for anything? I couldn't tell if Amanda was just playing her usual guilt card or if there was some truth to what she was saying. Maybe she was right. Maybe Ryan wasn't just being lazy and irresponsible. Maybe there was more to it. I tried to ignore the doubt, but it stuck with me. Then 2 days later, I was sitting on the couch when I saw the notification for a new email. It was from Amanda. The subject line read, "This is what you don't know." I opened it, and the first few lines made my heart drop. "Jake, there's something I've been keeping from you. I've tried to protect you from this because I didn't want you to feel guilty. But you need to know the truth. Ryan's not just in trouble because of his choices. He's in trouble because he's been using drugs. It's been going on for months. I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want you to get involved, but he needs help, and he needs it now. I couldn't breathe for a moment. I sat there, staring at the screen, the words almost blurring together. Drugs? Ryan? I'd never even thought about it. I mean, yeah, he was irresponsible, but I'd just chalked it up to laziness, to selfishness. Not this. I read on. I know this is a lot to take in, but please, Jake, don't turn your back on him. He's in over his head. He doesn't know how to get out of it. He's too embarrassed to ask for help, and I don't think he'll make it through this if he doesn't have you. I'm begging you. Don't let him drown. He's my brother, too. I felt sick. I didn't know how to process this. For so long, I'd resented Ryan for never pulling his weight, for always expecting me to do the heavy lifting. And now this, it was like everything I thought I knew about him had been a lie. Was this why he kept asking for help? Was this the reason he'd been so reckless all these years? My mind was spinning. I felt angry, but also confused. I couldn't just ignore what Amanda had said. I didn't know how to ignore it. Ryan was my brother. But at the same time, I couldn't shake the feeling that this was just another way for them to manipulate me. They always made it sound like I was the only one who could fix everything. I called Amanda. Jake. Her voice was tight. Did you get the email? Yeah, I got it. I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Is this really true? Is he using drugs? There was a long pause. Yes, she whispered. I didn't want you to know because I didn't want to drag you into it. But I can't keep lying to you. He's been spiraling for a while now. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. I couldn't believe it. I didn't know what to say. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I asked, my voice coming out harsher than I intended. Why wait until now? I didn't want you to get involved, Amanda said quickly. I didn't want to put that on you. I know how much you've already done for him. But now he's really at rock bottom. He doesn't know where to turn. And I don't know how much longer he's going to last. I squeezed my eyes shut, trying to make sense of everything. My brother, the one who had always been a mess but who I'd thought could handle it, had been hiding something this huge from me. And now Amanda was asking for my help, once again. Only this time, it wasn't just a matter of saving him from his own laziness. This was serious. I opened my mouth to say something, but then stopped. What could I say? I'd been through this same cycle before. I'd been the one to step in, to fix things. But could I do it again? Could I really be the one to save him, even after everything? I wasn't sure I could handle it. And honestly, I wasn't sure I wanted to. I don't know if I can help him, Amanda, I said finally. This is a lot. I need to think about it. There was a long silence on the other end of the line, and when Amanda spoke again, her voice was quiet, almost pleading. Please, Jake, don't give up on him. He needs you more than ever. I didn't respond right away. Instead, I stared at the screen of my phone, the weight of everything pressing down on me. Was I really ready to step back into that role? Could I be the one to fix this, to pull him out of the mess he'd made? I didn't have an answer. Not yet. But I could feel the tension building, and I knew I was going to have to make a decision soon. The question was, what kind of person did I want to be? The one who kept rescuing my brother, or the one who finally stepped back, let him fall, and let him learn on his own? I wasn't sure I could do either. But I knew one thing for sure. Whatever I decided, it wasn't going to be easy, and it wasn't going to come without consequences. But I couldn't ignore the fact that this was my family, and no matter how much I wanted to walk away, they weren't going to make it easy. A few days passed, and the weight of the situation only grew heavier. I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying Amanda's words in my head. He needs you more than ever. But did he? Did Ryan really need me? Or was this just another manipulation, another ploy to make me feel guilty for not doing enough? The truth was, I didn't know. I spent hours thinking about the past, the years of taking care of everyone else, putting my needs last, never being allowed to say no without being called selfish. All the times I'd been there for Ryan, only for him to fall back into his bad habits, asking for more help, more money, more of my time. And then I thought about the things I wanted for myself, the life I had started to build away from the chaos of my family. A life where I didn't feel like I was constantly sacrificing everything for people who never seemed to change. I was torn, but as much as I wanted to just walk away and focus on my own future, I couldn't shake the thought of Ryan, my brother, sitting alone, struggling. I could hear his voice in my head, telling me, "You're all I have, Jake. Don't let me down." I hated how that sounded, because it felt like a trap. But there was a part of me, a deep part, that still wanted to be there for him, that didn't want to see him fall apart. Finally, I made a decision. I wasn't going to let him manipulate me into feeling guilty anymore. I had already been down that road too many times. But I also couldn't just turn my back on him entirely, not with everything I now knew. I had to find a way to help him without sacrificing myself in the process. The next morning, I called Amanda. She picked up on the first ring. "Jake, are you okay?" she asked softly. "Have you thought about what I said?" "I've been thinking a lot," I said. "I'm not going to let him drown, Amanda. But I'm not going to be his crutch anymore either. I can't keep bailing him out. He has to want to change. He has to do the work, too." There was a pause, and I could hear the relief in Amanda's voice when she spoke again. "So, what are you saying?" "I'm saying I'll help," I said, "but on my terms. I'll help him get into rehab. I'll help him find a therapist. I'll give him the support he needs to get better, but I'm not going to keep covering for him. I'm not going to give him money or keep taking care of his problems. He has to start standing on his own 2 feet. Amanda was quiet for a long time, and I started to wonder if she was going to argue with me again. But then she spoke, her voice softer. I think that's fair. He needs to realize he's responsible for his own actions." "Thank you, Jake. Really." I felt a strange sense of relief, too. I wasn't giving up on Ryan, but I was setting boundaries. I was finally taking control of the situation instead of letting it control me. Later that day, I called Ryan. His voice was hoarse when he answered. "Jake," he said quietly, like he wasn't sure if he should be talking to me. "I know you're mad at me." I cut him off before he could say more. "I'm not mad, Ryan. I'm tired. I'm tired of being the one to fix everything for you. I've done everything I can, but you have to take responsibility for yourself now." There was silence on the other end of the line, and for a moment, I thought he might hang up. But then, finally, he spoke again. "I get it. I really do. I messed up, Jake. I've been trying to hide it, but I can't anymore. I don't know how to fix this. I don't know if I even can." I took a deep breath. "You don't have to do it alone, but you can't expect me to just keep fixing everything for you. I'll help you get into a rehab program. I'll get you connected with someone who can help, but you have to do the work. You have to want it." I will," Ryan said, and there was something in his voice that made me believe him, just for a moment. Maybe it was the exhaustion, or maybe it was the sincerity in his tone. But for the first time in a long time, I thought maybe, just maybe, he was ready to try. Over the next few weeks, I helped him find a rehab center. I made the calls, got him the support he needed, and even drove him there on the day he checked in. But I didn't go inside. I left him there with his baggage, and I drove away, leaving behind the brother I'd spent my life trying to fix. It wasn't easy. I still got calls from Amanda asking if he was okay, and there were days when I felt like I should have done more. But I knew I had done the right thing. Ryan had to take responsibility for his own recovery, just like I had to take responsibility for my own life. And as the weeks turned into months, I saw a change in him. It wasn't instant, and it wasn't perfect, but he was trying. And that, for the first time, felt like enough. I wasn't the savior anymore, and that was okay. Sometimes, the best way to help someone is to let them figure things out for themselves. It's hard, but it's the only way they'll ever learn. And for once, I was okay with that.